Hello, and welcome back to the Freelance Friday podcast. Today in my home country, the United States, it's a holiday at the time of uploading this, that is. And so I thought we could do just a chilled out, casual Q&A. There's some of my favorite episodes to record, and we can just chat and hang out for the holiday if you happen to be one of the ones tuning into a podcast instead of like hanging out on the beach or doing a barbecue or whatever that might be. So this question said, I'm loving your videos. What's your opinion on changing your niche on YouTube? I started with helping dental hygienists to make more money. Now I'm pivoting to also adding digital products to make extra on the side. But I wanted to help in general healthcare providers, or is that too broad? It's a great question. I am like the great niche changer. Let's just say, if you're new here, I started my YouTube journey doing beauty content, actually. I did makeup reviews and tutorials, I guess you could say. They were terrible. Then I kind of pivoted into vlogging. I got my first, real adult job and just started vlogging my life. So food, travel, Detroit content. And then I got really career focused and focused on business and entrepreneurship. And now I'm kind of blending those worlds a little bit again. Like I definitely would say this is primarily a business channel, but I also have a life outside of that. And I want to encourage people to live their best lives in all ways. So I'll give my simple to the point advice. And that's, if you're creating content for an entirely new audience, yes, you need to create a new platform. You need to create a new channel, a new Instagram, or a new website, whatever that might be. If in this person's case, it sounds like dental hygienists, I guess you could consider that healthcare, right? I don't know, by definition, where that industry starts and ends, but I would consider that healthcare. If you want to help other healthcare providers with their careers, with their businesses, I think that would make sense to lump those in together and just kind of expand your niche a little bit. Oh, they want to add digital products to their offerings. Okay, I thought they meant they want to teach people how to make digital products. If you were trying to do that, that I think would be a different thing. I think you might have the healthcare career academy, I'm just making this up, and then the digital products academy. But that's not what they're trying to do. They want to do digital products for healthcare. So I think, long story short, it could all be one thing. I think you've just got to ease your way into it though. When I pivoted from doing beauty content to doing business content or more vlogging content, I made sure that I integrated beauty into those topics, until I had kind of redefined my channel. I would do a Q&A like this where I'd talk about business, but I'd be doing my makeup while doing it. Or the reverse, right? I'd do my makeup and then also talk about business updates while doing my makeup. Or I would do a vlog where I'd talk about business and maybe life in Detroit and maybe food and buy some makeup and do a makeup haul. I would still include a piece of that old niche, so I wasn't abandoning my old audience. If you do want to fully change and you don't really care so much about the dental hygienist audience, that sounded negative, but you know what I mean? Sure, you could just completely start over new, but my guess is you still want to include them. So still make them feel included, but just broaden it. Give examples about dental hygienists, but also maybe about nurses or doctors or, whoever else you want to help. I got a question on my New York vlog. First of all, they left an amazing comment. Thank you so much. Wish they would have been there. Kind of looks intimidating to solo travel there, so kudos. What's that small white camera you're holding on the ship? This is the DJI. I gotta give the right name to it. It's the DJI Pocket 2. So there's a newer version, a newer Pocket, which is more expensive and it has a bigger screen, which is nice. I got the Pocket 2, honestly, because I liked this color. It's called the Sunset White color. I think it was a limited edition. I don't know if it's still available, but I'll link it if I can. But I liked the color, so I got that one. And it was cheaper because it was a little older. The drawback to it is that it does have a tiny little screen. I think you can connect it to your phone too, though, to use it as a viewfinder. Don't quote me on that, but it's a really cool, handy little camera. I bought it last summer just because I was doing a lot of travel and I didn't always want to bring my big Nikon Z30 with me everywhere. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great camera and I think we're going to see a lot more vloggers using it if you don't see it already. So love it. Are you wearing a health tracking ring? Would love your thoughts on that. Yes, I have been wearing the Oura ring for probably 2 months now. Prior to that was using Ultrahuman and I wore that for over a year. And yeah, I really like it. Like, I'm converted to the whole health tracking ring thing. I'll share my quick, thoughts on Oura versus Ultrahuman. But first, I want to take a second to thank today's sponsor, which is Metricool. If you don't already know, Metricool is your all-in-one social media management platform that I personally use for my business and is a must-have tool in the marketing space. And while they do have a free forever plan, their pro plan can help take you to the next level, and you can try it free for 30 days using my code Latasha at the link in the show notes. You can choose from starter, advanced, or enterprise plans. There really is a plan for everyone. Some of the amazing premium features that are available across the plans are management of multiple brands, analysis of up to 100 competitors, customizable links for any of your social media bios, downloadable reports that you can automate monthly, a hashtag search engine for Instagram and TikTok. You can assign team member roles and client access, and you can integrate with Data Studio for further analysis. So be sure to create your free account today and upgrade to premium while you're at it. You can use my code Latasha at the link down in the show notes to try any of those premium plans for free for 30 days. So the reason I got a health tracking ring to begin with was I just felt like my sleep was terrible. Like I just knew it. Like I would go to bed and I would do the math. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to bed with 8 hours or 9 hours to spare or 10 hours or whatever. Why am I still waking up feeling so tired? And I just knew something was going on. And I quickly noticed, like, just because you're going to bed at midnight, no, you're actually staying up, playing around on your phone, listening to podcasts, just laying there awake for hours after. And I realized I was getting like 2 hours less sleep a night than I thought I was. So that was number one. It tracks your sleep. That's honestly the biggest reason that I got it, was just to track my sleep. I also have learned over the year or so of wearing it, where my sweet spot is in terms of hours of sleep. So we always hear 8 hours, right? We all need 8 hours of sleep. Well, that's like the minimum recommendation. I feel the best when I get like exactly 8.5. Like it's wild. Like I will naturally wake up at like 8 hours, 27 minutes. I will have a great day if I get 8 hours, 27 minutes. It's so funny, but you start to see like your own body has its own unique needs and cycles and all of that. And you can just start to recognize those patterns and just know what works best for you. So now I know if I've got a big event, if I've got something going on, to plan accordingly. I switched to Oura, honestly, because I won this ring. I got it from Honeybook. I won like a referral challenge or something I didn't even know I was entered in. And I was like, honestly, I like the colors. So this is the rose gold. My Ultrahuman was just the yellow gold. I liked it too, but I do think the Oura is a little prettier. So if you care about the aesthetics of it, Oura has more color options. And I also it's like a little more rounded and a little more kind of feminine, I think. But what I didn't realize was that I did really like the cycle tracking on Oura better than Ultrahuman. It connects with natural cycles and Clue if you use any of those apps. It does temperature insights really, really well. It's like so predictable. It's scary kind of. So I found that to be helpful just for, family planning, life planning, all of the things. The biggest difference between the two outside of the aesthetics is the cost. Oura is more expensive. I believe the rings are more expensive. And also there's a monthly fee, which sucks. Honestly, it's like $5 a month. So it's not that much, but I wanted to do Ultrahuman because you pay for it once and you get it forever. But that said, I do like Oura better and I don't see myself going back. So I'm willing to pay a little more for a better product, in my opinion. I got a lot of questions about these videos I recorded quickly in my studio, which is so funny because I was rushing. I think I was gonna get on a plane the next day or something, and I just didn't have time to do my full setup in my normal home studio for my podcast. So I used my vlog camera to record these episodes, actually. Somebody asked, what camera do you use? The quality is lovely. So this is the Nikon Z30, which is my vlog camera. And then the lens I used, I'm going to put the exact one up on the screen and down linked in the show notes. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the aperture is 1.7 f-stop, I believe. So it gives that blurry background. and that more like cinematic look. I think it is a great quality camera. It has super sharp autofocus. I did a whole video actually on the Nikon Z30 that I'll link for you. I luckily got to work with them back then to do it. They're not sponsoring this episode, but I do really love it. I think it gives really, really sharp quality. The only thing I don't like about it for podcasts specifically, and that setup that these people are commenting on, is it does overheat. About 25 minutes or so for me. Obviously, it depends on like the space and how hot it is in there, but I bought a little fan to put on the back of my camera, and that really helps a lot, slash just maybe planning shorter episodes if you're going to record strictly with that, and taking breaks. Things to explore or transfer to you from marketing. I still love marketing, but want to widen the options. Great question. So I think that marketing, or like, I get this question a lot from social media managers specifically. What do I do after social media or instead of social media if I'm kind of burnt out on it? And I'll say I think social media and marketing in general is such a great jumping off point. It's such a great entry point into the world of digital, into creative industries, into production. So I guess I would just say with any career pivot, and like, let me just say, I can't really speak from experience because I do different things and I'm kind of in that season of trying to maybe lean more into the creative side of things than the, marketing side of things, but I'm kind of still in it. People still tell me all the time, Latasha, I love your social media content. I'm like, I'm glad, but like also what about my like content creation content or what about my, other stuff? So I'm still kind of in it is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think figure out what parts of marketing you do like and or that you're really good at. For me, it's always been more of the production and the content creation side. I went to school for film. That's what I am passionate about. That's what I could do all day. That's what I do in my free time, So for me, I decided to lean more into that. I just like shot a video for a client. I just opened a video and podcast studio that'll be more widely open later in the year, more to the public. And yeah, so that's kind of like, it is still related to marketing, but it's not like doing SEO keywords or buying Facebook ads or writing social media copy. It's a little different. But for you, it might be something different. Like maybe you love the design aspect. And so you decide to do graphic design, which I guess, I don't know. Do you consider that in marketing still? I think like all of this stuff is just so related. Is it creative? Is it marketing? Is it, ads? Like they're all so related nowadays. I think that's one of the kind of challenging things about working in this industry is we're kind of all jacks of all trades to some degree. And so I think it's just about specializing, just like honing in and deciding on what you want to specialize in. I don't know if that helped at all. I'm sorry. If you have any systems for getting editing done, it's easy to batch record but not edit several videos for me. I usually edit one and forget about the others. So my systems for editing, number one, remove things from your cards immediately. I always do this. I'm so glad I did. I'm recording at the studio, batch recording at the studio. And he was like, oh, I'll take your SD card. By the way, I have to format it, which means delete everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, I freaked out for a second. Thank goodness I always take my stuff off and put it onto a hard drive. So I was okay doing that. But yeah, so I always do that. I have kind of a folder system for my videos. So like podcast have numbers. I think we're up to like 354 or something like that, which is wild. So they're all numbered. And then I have an archive folder. So once they're old, I put them into there. And then once they get really old, I put them into a different hard drive. That's more about storage and organization, which you didn't ask about, but it is a part of my process. And then, yeah, I guess, something that I find helpful is to mix it up. Like if I do an episode on, let's just say I do a podcast episode that's a little more boring, for lack of better words, to edit, like something like this is just kind of like monotonous. And then I have a vlog, and then I have another more boring podcast. Like I'm going to alternate them, stagger them so that I maintain interest, because I do find when I just do like three talking head podcasts back to back, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. And I, don't love it. And then I think honestly, like the biggest thing about batching or making time for things or having systems for things is just allowing yourself time for it and forcing yourself, like putting it on your calendar. So I have certain days of the week that I assign to different things. Like, just making this up, it's not my exact schedule, but like, let's just say Mondays are my client days, Tuesdays are my recording days, Wednesdays are client meeting days, Thursdays are personal days, and Fridays are editing days. Just making that up. So then I know Fridays, like, you've got to edit. Like, there's something in the queue to edit. Check your queue. I also use Asana. And so that also helps me remember like what's been filmed already, what's coming up, what's been edited already, what needs to be edited. So I have a bunch of videos on how I use Asana. So I'll link those for you if you want to check that out. But basically just having like a constant queue. So if I have extra time or if it's my editing day, I can look at what's in the queue and I can edit it. I don't know if that helped, but that is pretty much what I do. I will say I love editing. Editing is my favorite part of the filmmaking process, which is weird to a lot of people because a lot of people hate editing, but I guess that's why I do what I do. So if you are a better filmer, good for you. I'm definitely a better editor. I'd love to hear about red flags when being approached by brands and what sort of due diligence an influencer should do. Red flags. Where do we start? I get daily emails from like Nike. I'm doing air quotes for the listeners out there. Nike and like ASOS and Nestle, like random, like huge brands. I get like fake emails all the time. So the first thing I would say about those emails is just look at their communication style. They'll be like, "Hi, James," or "Hey, bud," or "Hey, dude," or "Hi." A real brand is not going to send you a message saying any of those things. A real brand is going to say, "Hi, Latasha. Great to connect," or something professional like that. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number two, like if I have any doubt, or even if I don't have doubt, I always click in my email, tool and actually open up the email address. And if it's like Shelly at xyz.ru, it's always like .ru for some reason. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, don't respond to that. It's probably some type of scam phishing situation, just not good. So it should be coming from either if it was actually Nike, it'd be like partnerships@nike.com or, Shelly, if Shelly was the influencer marketing manager at nike.com, or it might come from an agency. So it might be like Shelly at fashionagency.com, and fashionagency.com is going to have a website. So you can look at that website and verify that it's a real agency. I also look people up on LinkedIn. So if I have doubts, I'm going to look up Shelly. Poor Shelly. I'm sorry if your name is Shelly. You're like, "I'm not a scammer. Why is she talking about me like this?" So I would look up Shelly on LinkedIn and make sure she actually works at that agency or that brand that she's claiming she does. Another big red flag is like, don't pay for anything. I see this a lot with Amazon products, and I'm not picking on Amazon. It's just like, I think there's something about their review system. They want you to be an actual verified purchaser before you review products. And so the Amazon sellers ask the influencers to buy the product, and then they will reimburse you for that cost. And, I'm sure they probably make good on it and do end up actually reimbursing them. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that goes against Amazon's terms and conditions, and I would hate for you to get in trouble, / I would hate for you to get burned and have them not reimburse you for some reason. So I do not spend any money on anything if I'm doing a brand deal. If I need product, they're going to send me the product. If I need travel, they're going to pay me before I get on a plane to travel. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think those are some of the big things. I'm pretty sure Ryan and I did a full episode where we talked about this. I don't remember exactly what the episode was called, if it was all about red flags or if it was just like about brand deals 101, but I will link it for you. I have a second podcast with one of my best friends. His name's Ryan Redoute. He's primarily a TikTok creator and a short form video creator. And we both do brand deals and kind of talk about what the whole deal is with the influencer marketing industry. It's a small YouTube channel, a small but growing podcast, and I'd love to have you check it out. So I'll link that video for you. Let's see. Another content question. I get stuck in a load of content research and planning, then falls apart when I go to do the content. Any helpful tips would be good. I think research is like research less. This is my advice to everybody. And maybe I'm like shooting myself in the foot here because I think I'm probably a part of people's research process, right? Learning, educating. Don't stop learning and educating yourself, but like don't overdo it. I think there's a certain point where you just have to say, today I'm going to talk about brand deals and I'm just going to talk, you know? And maybe that's something I can say that's helpful is when I sit down in front of a camera, I just try to imagine like I'm talking to my friend and you're asking me for this advice and I'm just going to give it to you like I'd give to a friend. It doesn't always come out maybe as polished as the end result does, because that's the magic of editing. But I get my thoughts out of my head and it's kind of like a brain dump onto the camera. And then on the SD card, that's where I like organize it a little bit better. I think a lot of people try to organize too perfectly before they get on camera, and then they can sound robotic or scripted, or again, it just prevents them from starting in general. Like they overthink it, and then they psych themselves out, and then next thing you know, it's like, oops, I didn't record anything. I also think that's a litmus test of how well you know your topic and if you should really be speaking to it in an informative, kind of authoritative way, at least. So for me, if there's like something I have to like really research, I might just do an interview with somebody who is an expert, because if I'm just going to research the answer, I'm not going to be showing up confidently. It's not going to be authentic. It's going to take me too long to research. So I might just interview someone instead, or just nix that topic in general and be like, that's not my zone of genius. It's funny because like when I was in New York speaking at this conference, I said it in the hotel room while I was getting ready. I was like, I didn't even practice the speech. I didn't. I'm trying this new thing where I don't over rehearse. And honestly, I think it was my most successful speech to date. I didn't rehearse. I wrote the slides. Obviously, I wrote those myself, but like that was the last time I saw them, was when I sent them off to the brand. It was such a natural topic for me that it wasn't like I didn't need to overly rehearse or overly plan it. And that's how I know that's something that I should be creating content about, speaking about, etc. But again, like if it was like about something else that I didn't feel as confident at, like that's a litmus test that maybe that's not what I should be teaching on. Okay, the last question I'll answer, which is one that I get almost every Q&A, and I don't know if I can give any more helpful advice, but it's imposter syndrome, how to get over it and believe in yourself. I just like to think, why not me? You know, I look to other people who have what I want or have achieved things that I admire and learn about their backgrounds, learn about their stories. I think it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, they have it all. They were handed things. They have opportunities I never had. That's not most people's stories. It really isn't. I truly believe that. Like I grew up pretty humble, you know, not a lot of resources, not a lot handed to me. And I think a lot of people grew up similarly or did not have the big head starts that you think they did. And I say that not to be like, quit complaining or quit making excuses. I mean, maybe a little. I've had to say that to myself, you know, but mainly just to say like, if they can do it, you can do it. You know, I look at somebody like Oprah, love her or hate her, like she was a huge inspiration in my life. She was a huge reason I went to school for film and emphasized broadcasting in my film studies. You know, I grew up watching her after school every day. She came from like such humble, to put it lightly, beginnings. And she had a lot of things working against her, you know, and it's like, if she can do it, why not me? Like, you know, why not me? Maybe I don't want to be on Oprah's level necessarily, but like, maybe that's even more encouraging. Like, I don't even need like a TV show, a TV network, like blah, blah. I just need to like make it as a podcaster. Like if Oprah can come from nothing and be that, why can't I be a successful podcaster? I also will say getting close to people who are successful it's something. I'm not going to even like give specifics about where I was at or what I was doing, but I was recently in a room with a bunch of CEOs, let's just say, of big companies too. Not like a CEO of like your local like pizza shop. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, big companies. I was in a room and honestly, like I wasn't that impressed with a lot of what they were saying. And I don't mean this to be negative or I bash on them, but just to say like, wow, I am smart, because like what he said didn't make sense. Like my answer to that would have been better, or my contribution to this discussion is better. You know, you don't want to go too far on that side, right? To be like completely narcissistic or full of yourself, but getting close to people who are very successful just makes you realize like they're humans too. They mess up, they say dumb things. They're not like this magical, untouchable entity that we sometimes think they are. They're just normal. They're just normal, like you and I, and they, put in probably the time. Maybe, sure, got a few unfair advantages. We all have our own unfair advantages in life and unfair disadvantages. And like they're doing it. And so like just do that. Oh, another big thing about imposter syndrome that really helps me is having evidence, like looking for evidence. My therapist always says this when I'm like, "Oh, I think this person's going to be mad at me." She's like, "Well, what's the evidence? Like has he, done something, reacted in a way when you brought something up before?" I'm like, "No, actually, it's just in my head." Same for imposter syndrome. Sometimes I do think like, "Wow, I don't know anything. Who am I to be talking about this?" Like, I just feel like a fraud sometimes. Like, that's what imposter syndrome is. Open up your hard drive, look at your clients folder. I look at the names of all the clients I've worked with, and they're not even huge, fancy clients. I haven't been a social media manager for Amazon or Nike or whatever. But like the number of clients, the vastness of the industries that I've worked with, the types of things that I've done, the types of services I've provided, it's a lot. I've put in the time. I have earned my place, to speak about this stuff. And so sometimes you just need that reminder. So keep a folder of like compliments, keep a folder of client work, keep a folder of, just things that you've done in your life to remind yourself like you deserve to be here, you deserve to stand firm and take up space. All right, well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again to Metricool for sponsoring. You can use my code Latasha at the link down below to get 30 days free on any of their premium plans. And I hope these questions were helpful for you. If you have any more for me, leave them down in the comments. You can also be sure to follow me over on Instagram. That's usually where I post calls for questions. I'm at the Latasha James. I also sometimes post on my community tab here on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions you ever want to ask and just engage with the community further, I appreciate you all so much for being here, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.